Hey, what's up everybody? Radx here, the one from 72, the ultra neutral, and today we're going to be talking about a 172 phenomenon because today is 7/21/2021, so it's a 172 day. I'm going to try to hurry up and try to push this out and get this video done for the night. And it's actually the last 172 day, by the way, for this month, which is the 7th month. Okay, so being 7/21, it's the last 172 day of this month. Let's just get on with it. So I watched the movie Deep Impact about a week ago, and I was going to talk about it in a video, and I just said, screw it, whatever. Because in the very beginning of the movie, his astronomer teacher asked him what star he's looking at, and he says it's the Alcor star. Or no, he says it's the Ursa Minor star. And then he asked him what's the other star next to it, and he says that's the Alcor. And then he discovers another star, right? That's right near, coming from Alcor and the Ursa Major star, okay? So there's another star that's coming from that direction, and it's not supposed to be there, and that's this massive comet that's coming towards Earth that's going to hit Earth. That's Deep Impact, which is funny because it's just like, my ears like went up like, oh, Alcor right off the rip, and like, oh, so they're gonna say that this destruction is coming from that direction, right? Like that direction is where, you know, all life on Earth could get wiped out and be ended. I don't know. I'm just saying, guys. I've said it before, so that's why I say, you know, stop people who are trying to make enemies out of the Draconians and stuff that are from that direction. It's just not really a good idea. Look, in that movie, it shows you that, you know, this is what I'm trying to explain to humans that don't seem to get it, don't seem to understand how massive the technology is out there in the universe that other beings are using. They could literally just direct a comet that's big enough just to wipe out everything on Earth. They don't even have to have a war with you. They come here and things go rocky because of superstitions and religions and things like that, and there's just too much problems without any evidence of all these crazy things that people are saying about them. Then they could literally just say, okay, you know what? We're done with you. They could back up. They could redirect a comet to come to this planet and just wipe all life on this Earth like they've done a long time ago. Okay, so Deep Impact, you may want to pay a little bit more attention to that movie on that scale and look at it from that perspective. Don't look at it as just an asteroid that just came out near the Alcor system and just came here by chance. Look at it as that the humans pissed somebody off, right? Some other species off that has the potential to actually send a comet to this planet. How are you going to stop that? I will point this out because this is all going to lead to one big thing, which is all going to connect to the 172. America gets a team of astronauts to go and get onto this comet. They want them to land on the comet and then put nukes on the comet to blow the comet up before it gets to Earth, before it reaches Earth, right? So what do? The president says, you know, the leader of the team is going to be the last man to walk on the moon. Of course, it's not Gene Cernan. They use some other fake name, but obviously 1972 was the last time they went to the moon. So they put in the 1972. It's in there, right? Like the last man to walk on the moon, 1972. And he gets to lead the team to go to this asteroid and to breach an asteroid. Now, this is not out of the possibilities of what humans are planning on doing today. And I'm going to show you videos on that too. I'm going to show you videos on that. I'm going to show you a small clip from Deep Impact. And I'm going to show you the 172. There is an asteroid that's heading this direction, guys. And I know I just kind of skipped past all this other stuff. It is the largest asteroid ever recorded in human history. And just so happens it's connected to the 172. How much more evidence do I have to put out there? And this is why I get worn down and I just get tired of doing videos. Like, here's more evidence. It could have been any other number. It could have been, you know, like these people who are like highly religious and stuff. It could have been 666, Comet 666. It could have been Comet 333. It could have been Comet there is, I told you before, 720 combinations in a 3-number combination. So you have all these other possibilities for numbers, but however, the largest comet that's headed towards Earth, that's not supposed to hit Earth, it's just coming this direction, is 271. Now, remember, we got to go back to the movie Deep Impact and talk about the fact that they landed on a comet. Well, that's not out of the possibilities of what humans are working towards today. And I'm going to show you video evidence of scientists who are talking about doing this, and they plan on being able to do it by 2030. Now, remember, this is the year they're talking about getting to be able to land on asteroids and be able to use asteroids for space travel. Not just to mine them, but actually get on the asteroid and actually ride that sucker to wherever it's going to for space travel. That is the plan. So 2030 is when they plan on doing this, right? That's when they say they should be able to do it. They should be able to do it by 2030. Asteroid 271, which is that 172 phenomenon, is going to be here 2031. What are the odds? Like within a year before that asteroid gets here, they're saying they're going to be able to get on an asteroid and actually ride that sucker and build on it and go inside the asteroid. Now, let me explain to you how big this asteroid is, 271. They think that it may possibly have moons going around it. That is the size of this thing. Oh yeah, like almost like a Planet X in kind of a way, because it is that big. It's not small, it's massive. I don't know the possibilities of what could be going on inside of there right now, right? Like what people are thinking about is when an asteroid gets here is that they're going to jump on it. What if the asteroid gets here and you realize it's already inhabited and there's already beings on that asteroid? That may not just simply be a regular asteroid that's just kind of floating off here into space. It may already have a colony inside of it. So by 2031, that's why do you think all this stuff's going on disclosure and all these things? Because this stuff is happening so fast, guys, it's not even funny. Like I told you, the veil is going to just be ripped open, and it should be ripped open by this year is up. I'm almost expecting it's going to be something phenomena is going to happen this year that's going to just rip the veil up, and whether people are prepared for it or they're not prepared for it, it won't matter. It's just going to happen. Well, anyhow, guys, I think that's about enough for my rambling about the 172. I think that's enough information for you. I'm just going to go ahead and play the rest of this video so you guys can see the stuff that I'm talking about. And with that, enjoy the rest of the time you have left, and I'll try to get out more videos.
What's the bright one?
Mizar. It's a double star.
Good. The one next to it?
Alcor.
Good, Peterman. And the one next to that?
I don't know.
It's McGrath.
I don't think so.
Well, you just said you didn't know.
Well, it's not McGrath. It's something else. Look. It's south, about 10 degrees.
The largest comet ever recorded is getting closer. Known as 2014 UN 271 and now also as Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein, it's about 160 kilometers in diameter, 1,000 times more massive than the average comet, and currently lies 20 astronomical units away. An astronomical unit is the average distance between the Sun and Earth. 20 astronomical units places the object at present a bit further out than the seventh planet, Uranus. Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein, to use its other title, is a visitor from the Oort cloud, a vast region around the Sun containing trillions of icy bodies, frozen cometary nuclei, ranging from about 1,000 to more than 100,000 astronomical units from the Sun. The outer edge of the Oort cloud marks the furthest physical outpost of the Sun's domain. From observations, astronomers have been able to get a pretty good handle on its orbit. It'll reach perihelion, its closest approach to the Sun, on about January the 23rd, 2031, at which point it'll be about 11 astronomical units away. That's just a bit further from the Sun than Saturn ever gets. Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein is the biggest object from the Oort cloud that astronomers have ever seen. It's ahead of other cometary giants including Hale-Bopp, which was only about 60 kilometers across, and the Comet of 1729, the brightest comet on record, even though it never came much inside Jupiter's orbit, which may have been as much as 100 kilometers across. What's also unusual about the new object is how early on in its approach to the Sun that it was discovered. It means we can target it for observation for the next decade or two and learn much more about its orbit, rotation period and composition, and whether given its size it has any small moons going around it.
NASA is funding a concept to turn asteroids into spaceships so we can mine them. So, Sophie, essentially asteroids would fly themselves?
That's exactly what would happen. So asteroids have lots of natural resources in them, like gold and platinum, and if we want to mine them, it's not really effective to go to the asteroid. So a company called Made in Space, a 3D printing company, has proposed that you would send a robotic ship to the asteroid. It would 3D print a navigation and propulsion system, and then the asteroid would fly itself to a site where it could be mined. Wow. And they just did get funded by NASA.
You know, when I first saw this, I was like, this has got to be science fiction. But no, it's serious stuff. I mean, you know, we've got the NASA funding, and kind of recently the Luxembourg, of all places, allocated over $200 million of public funds to asteroid mine. And their whole idea is that they want to pull a lot of private companies for space exploration into Luxembourg, give them a framework, make them a hub, and do just this type of thing. It's really amazing, and clearly it's happening.
When you think of space colonization, travel, and technology, science fiction might come to mind. Turning asteroids into self-powered spacecrafts could sound like a crazy development, but not to the U.S. company Made in Space, who expects to accomplish this by 2030. Currently in its first phase, Made in Space is exploring a vision to use gravity as a way of turning asteroids into spacecrafts capable of moving themselves to other locations in space. To help break it all down is former NASA astronaut and International Space Station Commander Leroy Chow. All right, so what would it take to turn asteroids into self-powered spacecrafts?
Well, I think that's, it's interesting to use an asteroid. And the reason that you might want to use an asteroid is for radiation shielding, because one of the things that you can't get away from very easily is the galactic cosmic radiation that would be, hitting the crew pretty much during their entire voyage beyond the magnetosphere. So actually embedding a spacecraft inside of an asteroid is not it's not a new idea, but these folks want to also try to use what they find on the asteroid to manufacture things, so really bootstrapping themselves from just an asteroid and turning it into a spacecraft. So I commend them for their imaginative thinking, but there are a lot of practical hurdles to overcome before being able to even approach something like this.
Okay, Dr. Choi, now if we were, let's just say, able to turn these asteroids into spacecraft, do you believe that they would be capable of moving themselves in space?
Well, of course, it's all has to do with your propulsion system, and I think they're developing or talking about a novel idea for that as well. So, you've got a lot of different technologies, some existing, some that have yet to be developed, that have to come together to make it work. But if they're successful in doing that, there's no reason it couldn't be integrated into a working machine. But that's a big if.
So now we're looking at developers are aiming for this type of space architecture to be conquered by 2030. Do you believe that this is viable?
Well, 2030 is not that far away for developing some of the things that they're talking about. So I think that's extremely aggressive. I'm a little skeptical of that, but you know what? That's what NIAC is all about. They're funding ideas that are kind of out there in the 30-plus year range, away from where we are today. So like I said, it's a neat, imaginative idea, and I wish them well. I'm sure they'll be doing studies with the grants that they've gotten, and maybe being able to put a little more detail to it.
About 2014 UN 271, do my best to answer some of the questions you had, and see how it stacks up to the largest comet humanity has ever seen. First of all, 2014 UN 271 was not discovered in 2014 as some are reporting. This stems from understandable confusion about how the process works. You see, it was discovered by astronomers Pedro Bernard Nefeli and Gary Bernstein, in archival images from the Dark Energy Survey. It was first imaged in October 2014 as part of the survey, but it can, and often does, take years for a scientist, or computer, to notice something moving in a series of images, blocking starlight as it goes. And this is the case here. When it was first noticed, it was located a little further out than Neptune, and in 2031 it will only get as close as Saturn's orbit, so no, it's not moving very fast at all. In fact, it's fair to say that this body is at the very limits of being gravitationally bound to the Sun. There is no danger of it hitting Earth. It appears to take about 3 million years to complete an orbit, and it's currently believed to reach a maximum distance from the Sun of a little more than half a light year, or about 55,000 times the distance of the Earth, from the Sun. Interestingly, its orbit takes it so far away from the Sun, that other forces like the galactic tide come into play. Basically, the Sun's gravitational pull is competing with other stars, and the Milky Way itself, at such distances. This makes it very hard, in fact it's impossible, to accurately predict its return. But if 2014 UN 271 is much larger than its lower size estimate, then it will be considered the largest. There's been some confusion about this comet's orbit as well, so I'll do my best to clear it up. When I first heard that the comet wasn't getting closer than Saturn, I'll be honest, my first thought was, how is that possible? This is the picture of the comet's orbit, provided by Wikipedia. I don't know about you, but I couldn't make sense of it, especially since it appears to be upside down. If the comet is observable from the southern hemisphere, then it makes sense that it would be approaching from under the plane of the solar system, not from above. No, I prefer this illustration instead. At least this one starts to show how insanely large this comet's orbit is. By the way, that tiny blue ring in the middle, that's Neptune's orbit. And here's another thought. The last time this comet came this close there were no humans. And likewise, the next time it comes around it's highly doubtful anything resembling a human will be around, not because we've destroyed ourselves, but because we'll have either evolved, or more likely, we'll have altered our children's DNA so much we may not look anything like a modern human. Indeed, for this one go round only, will there be humans to greet this comet? Personally, I'd love to see the complete package, meaning an orbiter and a rover. The comet's moving slow enough that ion propulsion similar to the kind used in the Dawn mission to Ceres, should be able to catch it. Especially since we have 10 years before it reaches its closest approach, and even then, it will be exiting the solar system at a snail's pace. Fun fact, Canon material puts the original Death Star's diameter at 120 kilometers, and the second one at 160 kilometers. Both of which are within 2014 UN 271's actual size once we learn a little more.